ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणि निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणि। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we are continuing our discussion from Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 4, chapter, I think we are on 25.
Yes, bro. 25. I think we did up to 18.
19th verse.
Yes.
Okay. So this is very interesting section of Ranjan going on. Narad Muni, after uh, giving instructions to the sons of Prachina Barhi, who went to the forest, and on the way they met Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva instructed them on Rudra Gita. We heard about Rudra Gita in the last chapters. And Narad Muni, he was thinking, well, I have delivered the entire dynasty of Swayambhuva Manu. So why only this Prachina Barhi should remain in the materialistic consciousness? Let me deliver him also. Thinking like this, he went to the palace of Prachina Barhi. He starts instructing Prachina Barhi on the science of pure devotional service. He began by showing him a vision of all the animals which are killed by him in the sacrifice. That means by the priests in the sacrifice. They are waiting for him to kill him. Because Prachinabari is a king. Narad Muni, he starts telling an allegorical story. Prachinabari, he is a very pious king. He understands that he should come out of the materialistic life, but he can't do so. Narad Muni, he surrenders to Narad Muni, and then ultimately Narad Muni starts speaking this beautiful story of Puranjan. This Puranjan is a great king, and because Prachinabari is a king, Narad Muni tells a story of a king. This Puranjan is a great king. He's searching for a nice place to stay. He's wandering all over the surface of the globe. Ultimately, he finds a suitable place on the southern side of the Himalaya mountains. That is, the Puranjan is a living entity, a pious living entity, traveling in all the species of life. Ultimately, he gets a human body. And human body is a very, very suitable body for developing Krishna consciousness, spiritual life. That is the most evolved form of species. And in this species, Prachinabari had a friend also. His name was Avigyata. Who was that friend? Who is Avigyata? Anyone remembers? The friend who is Avigyata, unknown friend of this Puranjan. That is the super soul, Paramatma, who is always there in everyone's heart, in all the species. And this Avigyata, he guides the Puranjan. Ultimately, this description of the city of Puranjan is given, this Panchal, and we completed till verse number 19. In this city, there are beautiful lakes, beautiful towers, walls, parks. The city is the city of our body, the city of 9 gates. That is the Panchala, that is our body. And in this body, in the city, there are some non-violent animals. They are the pious activities which are due to the result of pious reactions, which are the result of no sinful activities. Then there are sweet sounding cuckoos. They are the sound of the small children and the family members they are very attractive. So now we'll continue for verse number 20. As Puranjan is moving around in the city of 9 gates, suddenly she saw a very beautiful lady walking around without any engagement. Yadrichaya gatam tatra dadarsha pramadottamam Dashabhirayantim eka eka shatanayakai. Translation.
While wandering here and there in that wonderful garden, King Puranjana suddenly came in contact with a very beautiful woman who was walking there without any engagement. She had 10 servants with her, and each servant had hundreds of wives accompanying him.
Yes. So now the king saw a beautiful woman, Yadrichaya. This is a very common word in Bhagavatam, Yadrichaya. That means out of its own accord. अपने आप, हिंदी में अपने आप आ गया, अपने आप, suddenly he saw. Suddenly. Who is this lady? That is the intelligence which is functioning with ignorance. This means the initial relationship of Jiva with intelligence arises without a cause. Yadrichaya, he didn't plan for it. He saw this beautiful lady. So, in the beginning, why a living entity came in touch with sense object? Nobody knows. That is the eternal question which has troubled thousands of people, thousands of devotees. Why we came in this material world? Why Jiva fell down? Some devotees have stopped practicing Krishna consciousness because they could not get the answer to this one question. Why we came here? पहले बताओ हम यहाँ पे क्यों गिरे, तब हम ऊपर जाने का ट्राई करेंगे. So Prabhupada would give a simple answer to this question. You can't understand. Go back and find out. Because with our limited intelligence, we cannot understand what is happening in the spiritual world. Spiritual world has a completely different dimension of time. The time in the spiritual world is different from the time in the material world. And therefore, when Srila Prabhupada said, go back and find out, it was not that he was avoiding the answer. But he didn't give the answer because we will not even understand the answer. So, Yadrichaya agatam tatra. Out of her own accord, out of its own accord, she saw Pramada Uttama, a very beautiful lady. He saw the darsha, and she was not alone. Bhrityair Dashabhir. She had her 10 servants. And Ekaika Shatanayakaha. And each servant had Ekaika Shata, hundreds of wives. 10 servants and hundreds of wives. So what does it mean? Who are these 10 servants of this lady? It will be described. Chakravarti Thakur says. Narad Muni is saying, oh, in terms of the story, this may be said, O king, someone like you should never bring a beautiful woman into the grove. If you by accident meet, see, or touch her, you will be condemned. What does that mean? In terms of the soul, intelligence should not be exposed to enjoyable objects, sense objects. Because if one contacts them, one should repent. Yehi samsparsha bhoga dukkhayo naya evate. Any contact of senses with sense objects gives suffering. What are the various sense objects which are there? The beautiful trees, the call of the birds. The trees had branches moving in the spring breeze. filled with water drops, growing abundantly on the bank of the lakes with lotuses, the cool water, the sense of taste, the spring breeze, that is a smell, the breeze is touch. So all the things which this Puranjan is experiencing, that is the experience we have with our sense objects. Our senses, they come in touch with sense objects. It creates wonderful experience. So ultimately, the 10 servants are the 10 senses. 5 knowledge acquiring senses and 5 working senses. Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas. Jnanendriyas are eyes, nose, ear, smell, touch. Karmendriyas are mouth, tongue, belly, genitals, hands, and legs. These are the 10 senses. And who are the hundreds of servants? The hundreds of desires. The intelligence, which is contaminated. The materially contaminated intelligence has hundreds of desires. So basically here, when the material contaminated intelligence is given, that mind is included in that. Mind and intelligence, they both are working here. The mind is already contaminated, intelligence corrupts, and it corrupts the intelligence, and they both work as a one unit. Hundreds of desires. This woman was not alone. 100 servants, 10 servants, along with that, hundreds or more. And she was protected also. Who was protecting this lady? Panchasirsha Guptam Pratiharena Sarvataha Anveshamanam Shabham Apraudham Kamarupinim. Translation.
The woman was protected on all sides by a five-hooded snake. She was very beautiful and young, and she appeared very anxious to find a suitable husband.
So she was protected by a five-hooded snake. Can anyone guess what is this five-hooded snake which protects the intelligence? That is, yes, any guesses? That is the prana vayu, the 5 vayus which are going on in our body, moving in the body. They are protecting our intelligence. If the prana leaves, then intelligence can't function. They protect the intelligence. Prabhupada writes, the 5 types of air, prana, apana, vyana, samana, udana. They are the protectors of the intelligence. Intelligence was protected by the doorkeeper, Pratihari. Pratihari, Hindi mein, Sanskrit mein Pratihari hai, protector, the pranavayu. The master is the jiva. And this intelligence, she is still unmarried. That means the jiva has now entered in this material world, and he is about to accept a material intelligence. He is about to get married to this material intelligence. And this material intelligence looks very beautiful for a living entity, because that gives all the avenues for enjoyment, very attractive. She was gentle, unmarried, just as she attracted a husband. The intelligence with ignorance attracts the jiva. This intelligence, this lady, she was wearing various ornaments. That means our intelligence carries all the previous impressions also. Whatever a living entity has done in the past, that is carried by the material intelligence. Next. Sunasam sudatim balam sukapolam varananam samavinyasta karnabhyam bibratim kundalashriyam.
The woman's nose, teeth, and forehead were all very beautiful. Her ears were equally very beautiful and were bedecked with dazzling earrings.
What is the beautiful nose of this intelligence? That is the knowledge of smell. She has a beautiful nose. That means intelligence perceives all the fragrances. Then she has a beautiful teeth. That is the ability to taste flavors. So because the intelligence is working nicely, so the all the different type of tastes can be perceived. And she had a beautiful forehead. That means she had a clarity of intelligence. A living entity has a very clear intelligence. That means he knows how to enjoy. And her face represents the superior part of intelligence. Her ears, they were placed skillfully by the creator, sparkling with earrings. That means, what does it mean? She had beautiful earrings, dazzling earrings, and beautiful ears. That means she had been given beautiful ears. Her intelligence has the capacity to hear scriptural knowledge. And that knowledge can give either enjoyment or can give liberation. The scripture says both. Yamimam pushpitam vacham traivunya vishaya veda. The Vedas, they describe the knowledge of enjoyment also and liberation also. So ears means we can understand what will give me enjoyment, what will give me liberation. Okay, next. Vishanganivim shushronim shyamam kanakamechalam padbhyam konayadhyam chalantim nupurair devatamiva.
The waist and hips of the woman were very beautiful. She was dressed in yellow sari with a golden belt. While she walked, her ankle bells rang. She appeared exactly like a denizen of the heavens.
So basically, Narad Muni, he is telling Prachina Bari about the ears and the ability to hear dazzling earrings, because Prachina Bari is equally interested in hearing about enjoyment also and liberation also. And therefore, he also inquired Narad Muni, can you please tell me about how I can be liberated, how I can come out of my materialistic activities? So Narad Muni is, creating a very custom-made story which is suited for Prachina Bari. That is expert preacher. He knows his audience. He knows what the audience needs. Not that, okay, class आधा हो गया उसके बाद अरे I was speaking in English, हिंदी में बोलना था क्या? Oh, ho. Sometimes it happens. So the expert preacher means he knows what is the audience, who is the audience, what are the inclinations of the audience, what is the background of the audience, and similarly and accordingly the preacher will give an example. And Srila Prabhupada was like, what was the best in this? And Srila Prabhupada had to explain what is the spiritual world to hippies. What he said, what example Prabhupada gave when he had to tell all the hippies what is the spiritual world, how does the spiritual world look like? Anyone knows what example Prabhupada gave? He gave a very, very interesting example. He said, spiritual world is the ocean of LSD, because that's what they knew, that's what they liked. So that's how it is. Prabhupada gives another similar example story. One time there was a Christian preacher and he went to a coal mine and he was preaching about God and kingdom of God. And he was telling that if you don't follow what Jesus says, you will go to hell. So the workers, they didn't know what is hell. So they asked, what is hell? He said, hell is a very dark place. So they said, our coal mine is also dark. How does it matter? He said, the Hell is a very damp place, not sufficient air to breathe. They said coal mine is also the same thing. You don't get proper food also. Here also it is same thing. So he was thinking, well, what example will click them? So then he saw that in their uh, break time, they were reading newspapers. That's how they would pass their time. So then he said, and in the hell, there are no newspapers. Oh, then we don't want to go to hell. Can you please tell us what to do? That is expert preacher. So Narad Muni is giving such a wonderful custom-made story for Prachina Barhi. So this lady, she is wearing a golden cloth. What is this golden cloth? Her yellow cloth means the intelligence is covered by the actions in Rajogun. So this intelligence which a living entity has, it is prominently in the mode of passion and ignorance, desire to enjoy, Rajogun. And this lady, she was blackish in complexion. The color of intelligence is blackish. Why? As the cloud covers the sun, the intelligence covers the Lord for the Jiva. Our material intelligence covers our knowledge of the Lord. And this lady has ankle bells. What is this ankle bell? This sound of ankle bell indicates that intelligence is unsteady in hearing scriptures. Material intelligence doesn't like to hear scriptures. Shrotavyadini Rajendra Nidam Santi Sahasrasaha Apashyatam Atmatattvam Griheshu Grihamedhinam. People, they can talk about other things for hours and hours. But when it comes to spiritual talks, oh, they're not at all interested. Okay, then. Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he is very graphically explaining in all these purports the relation between man and women, how the intelligence is completely occupied when man and women come together. So Prabhupada is explaining all the details of that. Okay. Stanao Vyanjita Keshoro Samavrittao Nirantaro Vastrantena Niguhantim Vridaya Gajagamini. Yeah.
With the end of her sari, the woman was trying to cover her breasts, which were equally round and well placed side by side. She again and again tried to cover them out of shyness, while she walked exactly like a great elephant.
So intelligence has two very attractive things. Two things on which intelligence works: raga and dvesha. They are the most attractive parts of the intelligence. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Indriyasya indriyasyarthe raga dvesho vyavasthitau tayor navashamagachetau hyasya paripanthinau. So the breast represents attachment and repulsion. And the breasts were youthful. The intelligence is always youthful. A person may be old, but the attachment and hatred, they are always young. The rag and dvesha never goes. They are always young. They never go pale. They never lose their charm. They are always young. And they're equally round means the living entity is equally bewildered by attraction and repulsion. Raga and dvesha, they equally attract us. We are attracted to something and we are repelled by something equally. That is always there. And her breast had no space in between, being full. That means the attraction and repulsion are, they are not different. They are actually same foundation. Kamaesha, Krodhaesha, Rajoguna, Samudbhavaha. They are all coming from Rajoguna. And just like this lady was trying to cover her breasts, so the cultured people, what they do? They try to hide their attraction and repulsion. So that is how, very graphically, Narad Muni is explaining how a living entity is caught in this material world. What is affecting the living entity? How Raga and Dvesha, they always cover the intelligence. They are always the focus in the intelligence, material intelligence. Our intelligence is always working on these two things, Raga and Dvesha. I like this, I don't like this. I want this, I don't want this. So that's how this lady also was. Prabhupada in the purport, he describes about very strongly about sex life, how materialistic people, they are attracted to enjoyment. Niguhantim indicates that even if one is tainted by kama, krodha, lobha, they can be transfigured by Krishna consciousness. That means we can use all this in Krishna service. Krodha bhakta dveshi jane kama Krishna karmarpane. We can use all this in Krishna service. Being impelled by the lust, ordinary worker can work whole day. A devotee can also work whole day. A karmis work hard for satisfying kama, krodha. A devotee works to satisfy Krishna. That is the difference. We also can use all our propensities to serve Krishna, all our anarthas to serve Krishna. Just like Hanumanji, Prabhupada gives example of Hanumanji. He was angry, he burned the Lanka. Arjuna, he fought against the entire Kaurava army. So Kama and Krodha can be utilized. Okay. Tamaha lalitam viraha savrida smith shobhanam snigdhena panga pankhena punkhena prishta premodhramad dhruva.
Ranjana, the hero, became attracted by the eyebrows and smiling face of very beautiful girl and was immediately pierced by the arrows of her lusty desires. When she smiled shyly, she looked very beautiful to Puranjana, who, although a hero, could not refrain from addressing her.
So now this is a very important verse. In this verse, what is happening? She smiled shyly. Savrida smita shobhanam. She was looking very beautiful. And she didn't talk to him. She was just moving around. Tam aha lalitam viraha. Viram. This Puranjan, a great hero, he went and started talking to this lady. He himself went. That means Lord is not responsible for the entanglement of Jiva. The living entity is responsible for his entanglement. Nobody can blame the Lord for the sufferings we are going through in this material world, because it is we who have caught hold of the material intelligence, who have married this material intelligence. We are suffering, we're responsible for our suffering. Chakravarti Thakur writes, Jiva, by his free will, becomes bound by the function of ignorance. To show that the Lord does not bind the Jiva with ignorance by force. How they establish a relation? That is explained here. Lord didn't do anything. He is still the avigyata friend. He is just silently watching. He is not doing anything. This living entity on his own, he went and started talking to this beautiful lady. Because of her affection, she continuously glanced at him, and that arrow pierced him up to its shaft. But because he was courageous, he did not grow tired. He was energetic to obtain enjoyment. So that's how a living entity wants to enjoy in this world. That's why he has come in this material world. And this material intelligence gives all the facility for enjoyment. So he is very, very eager to get that material enjoyment, material intelligence. So he is approaching that material intelligence. The jiva, accepting himself as enjoyer, thinking that there is some enjoyment in ignorance, pursues enjoyment. And the Lord, knowing there is nothing to enjoy in ignorance, he remains aloof. The Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya Samana Vriksha Purusho Nimagna. The two birds on a tree, one is enjoying, other is watching. The jiva tries to enjoy. And the Supreme Lord, he's just aloof. He knows there is no enjoyment in ignorance. Only enjoyment is possible on the spiritual platform. Everything else is the cessation of suffering, no positive enjoyment. Prabhupada writes in the purport, every living entity is a hero. Now the word used here is Veera. Every living entity is a hero. When he is a victim of illusory energy, he works as a hero in the material world. One can become hero by being the master of the senses. One can be either hero in the material world or in the spiritual circles. Hero to banna hi padega. We have to become hero, either in the material world or in the spiritual world. We have to become Goswami. That is a heroic activity. To conquer over the senses, this is the most difficult thing. Materialistic activities are false heroic activities. Whereas restraining the senses is great heroism. Because one may be hero in this material world, but he will ultimately become a lump of blood and flesh. And he'll be conquered by other lump of blood and flesh. Prabhupada is very graphically describing how big, great personalities, they are conquered by the ladies. Prabhupada gives the famous example of Cleopatra. We know the story a little bit about Cleopatra. She was so beautiful. She actually seduced Julius Caesar and conquered him. Caesar, he was such a powerful ruler. Now, Caesar had a famous statement, Veni, Vedi, Vici. I came, I saw, I conquered. That was the logo of Julius Caesar. So powerful he was. In fact, when he would ride on the chariot, on both sides of the road, people would be standing and shouting his name, Caesar, Caesar. He was like the great hero. And just to keep himself grounded, he would always keep a bodyguard on the chariot, and this bodyguard had one function, one role, one job. He had to keep on saying in between, you are also mortal, Caesar. You are also mortal. Because hearing so much glorification, now sab log bol rahe hain, Caesar, Caesar, it may go to the head. So Caesar knew it is not so good. But he was also seduced by Cleopatra. Cleopatra was one of the queens, the princesses in the neighboring country. And she was very ambitious lady. She wanted to win over Caesar. So what she did, she put herself in a huge box and covered with a nice carpet, and she told her servants that, take me as a gift to Caesar. They brought this huge box with Cleopatra inside, and he opened the box, and from there came out Cleopatra, showing all her beauty, and she was completely seduced. But she was not in love with Caesar. She wanted his kingdom. She made friends with the ministers of the Caesar. One of the ministers of Caesar was Brutus. Anyways, I'll not go into the history. So ये बहुत ही मतलब very wonderful history है वो, how Cleopatra conquered over Caesar. So Prabhupada gives the example of this Cleopatra. And then Prabhupada gives the example of Bajirao also. A great hero in India named Bajirao became a victim of women during his time of Maharashtrian politics and he was defeated. Then Prabhupada writes out Vishkanya. एक पहले एक सीरियल आता था चंद्रकांता उसमें ये दिखाते थे. I don't know, some of you must have seen that serial. सालों सालों तक चलता था विश्वकन्या. So that's how Prabhupada gives the examples of these great heroes who were seduced by the power of women. Prabhupada writes, being part and parcel of Krishna, the living entity is certainly a great hero. But due to his own weakness, he becomes attracted to material features. Krishna Bhairmukha hiya bhogavancha kare nikatastha maya tare jhapatiya dhare. And then he's conquered by the forces of illusion. Can't do anything. Then Prabhupada writes, every living entity has a freedom to be attracted by material nature or to stand as a hero and resist that attraction. It is simply a question of the living entities being attracted or not being attracted. So the whole process is we should become hero, Goswami, conqueror of our senses. That is the real victory. Okay. Now, this Puranjan, a great hero on his own, approaches this beautiful lady. And that's how material intelligence, living entity approaches the material intelligence, accepts it, eager to accept material intelligence because she will give all the enjoyment. The more one is materially intelligent, the more one can enjoy the world. Now he's very eager. He goes and asks, Katvam kanjapala shakshi kasyasiha kuta sati imam upapurim bhiru kimchiki shashisham shame. Translation.
My dear Lotus-eyed, kindly explain to me where you are coming from, who you are, and whose daughter you are. You appear very chaste. What is the purpose of your coming here? What are you trying to do? Please explain all these things to me.
So now, actually, a living entity is always with the material intelligence, right? In this material world, we are always with material intelligence. But the living entity is so very attracted to the material intelligence, he asks her questions as if he is not knowing her. So even though the jiva is always situated with intelligence and other factors, for the jiva in the human body, the intelligence and other factors are outstanding. They are the very prominent part of our existence. So therefore, he still asks, who are you? Where have you come from? Where do you stay? Katvam, who are you? Kanjapala Shakshi, he is glorifying her, lotus-eyed one. Kasya siha kutam, from where have you come? Who are you? Whose daughter you are? Where do you stay? And what is the purpose of coming here? Imam upapurim bhiru, kahan rehte hain aap? Please tell me all this. The Prabhupada writes, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. The living entity keeps asking so many questions. Prabhupada would tell sometimes in his classes that every day in the morning, the birds, they get up, they start chirping. The animals start, making sounds. What are they asking? They are questioning, they are asking question, where is food, where is food? Everybody is asking questions. Inquiries, they are inbuilt. And we are known by our inquiries. Our inquiries define us. What type of inquiries we are making? So generally in this world, people, they make inquiries how to enjoy. inquiries about eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. But ultimately, living entity should inquire about the spiritual subject matters. Ke ami, ke ne amar, jare tapatraya. These are the actual inquiries. Who am I? Why am I suffering? Prabhupada writes, a living entity is always connected with a certain amount of intelligence. But in the human form, living entity must inquire about spiritual identity. That is real human intelligence. So Puranjana, he is asking his material intelligence, who are you? Because he wants to enjoy it materially. That is not the purpose of human life. It is said that because one who is fully conscious, one who is simply conscious of body is no better than animal. Krishna, he is seated in everyone's heart and he is always ready to reciprocate. Ye yatha mam prapadyante. If we want to remember Krishna, Krishna will make us remember him. If we want to forget Krishna, he will make us forget him. So Puranjana, he's asking question, where have you come from? What's our business? Actually, these are the inquiries which we should ask about the Supreme Lord. We should inquire about what is the purpose of our existence, the questions about self-realization. So even though Jiva is superior to intelligence, as Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, Indriyani paranyahur indriyebhya param manaha manasastu parabuddhi yo buddhe paratastu saha. But still, the living entity gets attracted to intelligence. Although it is higher than intelligence, still gets attracted to intelligence because the living entity is now materially contaminated. The material consciousness has covered the jiva, so he wants to enjoy. That's why he is asking. Now, he continues. He says, who are all these people with you? O kayete anupathayeta ekadash mahabhata etavalana subhru koyam te hitas purapsarah ahi purasara. Translation.
My dear Lord, my dear lotus-eyed, who are those 11 strong bodyguards with you? Who are those 10 specific servants? Who are those women following that 10 servants? And who is the snake that is preceding you?
So now he's seeing, okay, okay, intelligence as this lady is around surrounded by so many people. He's asking about everyone. Who are these bodyguards? 11 bodyguards means the 10 servants and the mind. They're always there with the intelligence. And who are these women? That means their material desires. Hundreds of desires are there. Who are they? And they are very powerful. He says, Mahabhataha. Ekadasha Mahabhataha. He says, out of these 11, the 11th one is very strong. Who is the 11th one? Very strong servant. That is the mind. Yes. That is the material mind, contaminated mind. Very strong. The word powerful indicates the mind. Okay. Now, yes, Puranjan, he starts flattering this girl. He is really glorifying her. He is comparing her with Bhavani and Saraswati. Twamri bhavanyasya athavagramapatim vichinvati kim munivadraho vane twadangri kamapta samasta kamam kwa padmakosha patita karagrat. Translation.
My dear beautiful girl, you are exactly like the goddess of fortune, or the wife of Lord Shiva, or the goddess of learning, the wife of Lord Brahma. Although you must be one of them, I see that you are loitering in this forest. Indeed, you are as silent as great sages. Is it that you are searching after your own husband, whoever your husband may be, simply by understanding that you are so faithful to him? He will come, he will come to possess all opulences. I think you must be goddess of fortune, but I do not see the lotus flower in your hand. Therefore, I am asking you, where have you thrown that lotus?
Every statement has a reason, has a deeper meaning. Chakravarti Thakur writes, one considers, this is very important. सबको लगता है ना, मैं जैसा सोचता हूँ वैसा सब क्यों नहीं सोचते हैं? आई एम द बेस्ट इन माय इंटेलिजेंस. मतलब मैं इतना लॉजिकली सोचता हूँ. एवरीबडी शुड थिंक लाइक मी, एवरीबडी थिंक्स लाइक दिस. Everybody thinks the way I take my decisions, the way I, solve problems, that's the best. Okay, or one may say, I may not be the best, but अपने एरिया में तो मैं बेस्ट हूं भाई. So this Puranjan, he is really attracted, and he thinks, wow, this is the best lady, most beautiful lady. My intelligence is the best intelligence. Chakravarti Thakur writes, one considers one's intelligence to be excellent and attractive to all people because of lack of discernment. This is indicated by this statement. So now, this lady, she is feeling shy, covering her face and the eyes, and that is what becomes attractive. She's attracting his attention. So he says, are you looking for a husband? Why are you moving around alone in this forest? This indicates he is attracted by the sweetness of the intelligence. Intelligence is very attractive. If somebody has good intelligence, he is proud of it. Oh, I have such a beautiful, wonderful intelligence, sweet intelligence, always helping me, guiding me. And then he starts flattering her. Are you wife of Shiva? Or are you Saraswati? Or are you Lakshmi? But you have controlled your senses like a sage. What kind of husband do you have? He has fulfilled all desires by desiring your lotus feet. And he says, you have thrown away that lotus flower. What does that mean? Chakravarti Thakur says, the lotus bird is the discerning power of the jiva. It is under her control, though no one can see this. She has thrown it away. You know what is this discerning power? To understand what is good spiritually. That is a discerning power. Material intelligence has thrown away this discerning power. She is not interested in anything spiritual. So that's why he's saying, have you thrown away that lotus flower? Prabhupada writes, everyone thinks that his intelligence is perfect. Sometimes one employs intelligence in worship of Uma to obtain a beautiful wife. Sometimes he worships Saraswati. Sometimes he worships Lakshmi. So all these inquiries are made by Puranjan, the living entity who is bewildered and does not know how to employ his intelligence. A material contaminated intelligence doesn't allow the living entity to understand that none of the things of the world will give happiness. And therefore, he tries to get knowledge of this world, wealth of this world, and influence in this world and sense objects, thinking that these things will give me pleasure and satisfaction and enjoyment. Saitam nirjit kapo bekarat vishayan priyan yathopajosham bhunjano natripyat ajitendriya. Hiranyakashipu had everything. Whatever he wanted, he would get it. Best of the women to enjoy, best of the food, best of the liquors. All the devtas would bow in front of him. but still he was not happy because he was uncontrolled. So till the time intelligence is used to get the things of this world, one can never be happy. Intelligence should be employed in service of the Lord. As soon as one uses his intelligence in this way, the goddess of fortune automatically becomes favorable. In fact, in fifth canto, uh, in the one of the chapters, 19th chapter, the prayers of the residents of Jambudvipa are described. In Jambudvipa, there are many varshas, 9 varsha. And in that, every varsha has a prominent key inhabitant and then predominating the deity of the Lord. In one of the varshas, Lakshmi Devi is a key inhabitant, and she is offering prayers to eternal Cupid, that is the Supreme Lord. And she says, actually, oh my Lord, if somebody does not worship you, I don't favor them. In commentary, Chakravarti Thakur writes, materialists, they become rich not by the mercy of Lakshmi Devi, but by the mercy of Durga Devi. But devotees, they become opulent by the mercy of Yoga Maya, not Mahamaya. Devotees also become wealthy, but their wealth is not coming from material powers. And that's why the enjoyment of a devotee does not degrade them. They are not bound by karmic reactions by their enjoyment. So Lakshmi naturally favors a devotee. Otherwise, if one rejects the Lord, Lakshmi will never come. Prabhupada writes the story of Ravan. One should not, like Ravan, worship the goddess of fortune alone, because she is Chanchala. She is only found at one place, at the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. And then he not only appreciated the shyness of the girl, but actually became more attracted by that shyness. He was actually thinking of becoming her husband, and consequently was asking her whether she was thinking of her prospective husband or was she married. So that is the desire of a living entity, to enjoy. Bhoga Tyaga, Prabhupada writes that. Okay. King Puranjan was appreciating the beauty of the girl as if she was the goddess of fortune. Now, he continues. So he compared this lady with Lakshmi, Saraswati, Bhavani, and then now he's coming to conclusion. Ah, no, you are none of them, because your feet are touching the ground. Heavenly ladies don't touch the ground, so you are none of them. So that means I can get you. That is the underlying meaning. Okay, you're not Bhavani, not Lakshmi, not Saraswati. That means I can get you. I can marry you. That's what he says in the next verse. Translation. Yeah, somebody can read the translation.
Oh,
O greatly fortuned one, it appears that you are none of the women I have mentioned because
Sorry.
I feel that your feet are touching the ground. But if you are some woman of this planet, you can, like the goddess of fortune who accompanied by Lord Vishnu, increases the beauty of the Vaikuntha planets. Also increase the beauty of this city by associating with me. You should understand that I am a great hero and a very powerful king on this planet.
Yes. So now he is flattering this lady. He is boasting about himself. And he says, okay, you are not any of this lady. So therefore, you are suitable for me. Oh, Varauru, oh, beautiful one with beautiful thighs. You are none of them, and I can see that Bhuvi prick. You are touching the ground. And you should know that I am also a great hero. Veer Varena Sakam. I am also a very great hero, a great king. So therefore, please accept me. Chakravarti Thakur writes, by a little consideration, one can understand that one's intelligence is not the best, but people think that they have the best intelligence. Now this Puranjan, he understood, okay, you are not the best of the ladies, but ठीक है, you are not lesser also. You are also a good one. So people are not ready to accept कि नहीं नहीं हमारा बुद्धि तो इतना अच्छा नहीं है. अरे अच्छा है. Prabhupada writes, there is a difference between demoniac and devotional mentality. The devotees know perfectly well that the goddess of fortune cannot be enjoyed by the living entities. Still, they want to enjoy. And Puranjan, he is telling, oh, you are not any of them? Okay, I can enjoy you. Since he is attracted by her, he requests that she become as happy as the goddess of fortune by associating with him. Because I am a great king, you will enjoy by marrying me. And that's how the demoniac people are. They want to enjoy the wealth of this world, get the wealth of this world, thinking that they'll be happy. But they suffer always. But the devatas, they use everything in the service of the Lord. Okay, so Puranjan, he's trying his best to seduce this beautiful lady so that he can get married to her. यदेशम आपांग विखंडितेन्द्रियम सव्रीड भाव भ्रमद्भ्रुवा द्वयोपसृष्टो भगवान मनोभव प्रभाधते अथानुग्रहाण शोभने.
Certainly, your glancing upon me today has very much agitated my mind. Your smile, which is full of shyness, but at the same time lusty, is agitating the most powerful Cupid within me. Therefore, O most beautiful, I ask you to be merciful upon me.
So he says, Cupid is really troubling me. Your glances are troubling me. So what does it mean? He says, please give me enjoyment by your sense objects. So now he's telling this intelligence, please give me enjoyment, because you are really creating a desire for enjoyment in my heart. And Prabhupada writes how material illusion is so very thick. One can be easily conquered by the movements of the eyebrows of the ladies. In fact, there is a verse which says, Dhruvi Jrambhena Kevalam. Big, powerful rulers, they are controlled by the movements of the eyebrows of their wives. Dhruvi Jrambhena Kevalam. Now, this is a verse which I think comes in. Just find out. In that also it is described that great conquerors, after conquering the kingdoms, when they come back, this is actually Kapila Dev telling his mother, Balam me Pashyamayaya Sri Maya Jayano Disham Yah Karoti Padakrantan Bhuvi Jrimbhena Kevalam. The greatest of the controllers, they are controlled by the movements of eyebrows of their wives because they want enjoyment. So this great controller, this great king Puranjan, he is controlled by this beautiful lady and he is desiring enjoyment. So he's saying, I'm controlled, I am completely conquered. Please give me enjoyment. Please marry me. Next verse translation.
My dear girl, your face is so beautiful with your nice eyebrows and eyes, and with your bluish hair scattered about. In addition, very sweet sounds are coming from your mouth. Nonetheless, you are so covered with shyness that you do not see me face to face. I therefore request you, my dear girl, to smile and kindly raise your head to see me.
He says, "Oh my dear Subhru, Sutaralochanam." Subhru means, "Oh beautiful faced one with beautiful eyes. You have bluish hair scattered. Please raise." She's looking down. "Please raise your head. At least show me your face." So Chakravarti Thakur says, you know what he's saying? Narad Muni is saying, the lusty jiva has no memory how much he has suffered in the past. He's bewildered. But still, the material intelligence doesn't allow him to turn towards spiritual side, turn towards God. So he says, "Oh avidya, you have cheated me of spiritual bliss. Now at least give me some material happiness. At least show your face to me. You are not giving me spiritual happiness. At least give some material happiness." But that is also not there. Material intelligence just shows us that you will get happiness, but it doesn't come also. So therefore, he's saying, please raise your face so that I can see your beautiful eyes. That means I can enjoy by my touch, by touching, by smelling, by hearing nice sound. So he's praying, I want to enjoy. Can you please allow me to enjoy? That's how a living entity uses his intelligence to enjoy this material world. So that's how Narad Muni describes the whole story. And then Narad Muni, he says, so this Puranjan became so attracted to this lady and he was so impatient to enjoy with her. Itham Puranjanam Nari Yachamanam Adhiravat Abhyanandat Tamaviram Hasanti Viramohita. Yeah, translation.
Hare Krishna. Narada Vacha. Narada continued, my dear king, when Puranjana becomes so attracted and impatient to touch the girl and enjoy her, the girl also become attracted by his words and accepted his request by smiling. By this time, she was certainly attracted by the king. Hare Krishna.
So this Puranjana and the Nari, they became attracted. So far, Puranjan was attracted to this intelligence. He glorified her, flattered her, and he became impatient to enjoy with her. But now what happened? This girl also became attracted to Puranjan. But the first move was from the side of Puranjan. So therefore, this is a story of a living entity who gets in this material world with the material intelligence, thinking that this material intelligence will give all the enjoyment. Chakravarti Thakur says, "Oh valiant king, I have told you a story about yourself. Just as the jiva is attracted to sweetness of sense objects by the intelligence can also be attracted to spiritual sweetness by the jiva. So the living entity is attracted to material intelligence, and material intelligence is also attracted to living entity. There was a question asked in the previous canto. Narad Muni asked a question. Now, Devahuti asked a question. How can one be relieved from the material illusion? Because living entity is attracted to material nature, and it seems that the material nature is also attracted to living entity. It is made for each other combination. How is it? Anyonya apashrayatvat. They are both connected. They are both related to each other. They are attracted to each other. This is not one-sided attraction. It is not a one-sided love. It is both-sided love now. So one-sided love can be broken easily. But this is both-sided love. Living entity is attracted to Maya, and Maya is also attracted to living entity. So how will the separation be possible ever? So that is how so far Puranjan was attracted to this lady. Now this lady also got attracted to Puranjan. Prabhupada writes, when a man is aggressive and begins to woo a woman also becomes attracted. That's the double knot. Pumsa striya mithuni bhavam. Hridaya granthi. It is not just one-sided knot. ना एक knot को खोला जाएगा. No, there is double knot. Double नहीं है उसके ऊपर. Man is attracted to women, woman is attracted to man, then man is attracted to children, and children are attracted to man, then they are attracted to husband, wife, then the mother, father. बहुत सारा knots है. तो क्या करना पड़ता है? You have to cut that. If there are so many knots, you can't open them one by one. We have to cut that. भिद्यते हृदय ग्रंथि छिद्यन्ते सर्व संशयः क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि दृष्टेवात्मनीश्वरे. Okay, so now the girl starts speaking. न विदाम वयम सम्यक कर्तारं पुरुष ऋषभ आत्मानश्च परस्यापि गोत्रम नाम च यत्कृतम्.
Hare Krishna. The girl said, "O best of human beings, I do not know who has begotten me. I can't speak to you perfectly about this, nor do I know the names of the origin of these associates with me." Hare Krishna.
न विदाम. He says, I don't know who are these people who are with me. I don't know how I came into existence. He says, Chakravarti Thakur writes, what is the spiritual meaning is this? Spiritual meaning is ignorance which covers the knowledge of the jiva should not claim to know the Lord. Or everything is ultimately coming from the Lord, but the intelligence, material intelligence, cannot claim to know the Lord. Only by spiritual intelligence one can know the Lord. So she is frankly admitting, and I don't know who are these people. I don't know from where I have come. If we want to come out of this material coverings, we have to take shelter of spiritual intelligence, because material contaminated intelligence cannot help one understand the Lord. That's why Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, 3rd chapter, last verse, Evam buddhe param buddhva samstabhyatmanam atmana jahi shatrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. Please take shelter of spiritual intelligence. Evam buddhe param buddhva. Use your spiritual intelligence and destroy this knots of ignorance. This lust is the biggest enemy. Cut off this lust by using spiritual intelligence. Prabhupada writes, living entity is the origin of, ignorant of his origin. He does not know why this material world is created, why others are working, what is the ultimate source. Nobody can answer all this. And that's why they keep on speculating. The phrase Athato Brahma Jigyasa indicates an inquisitiveness to know the original source. Unfortunately, none of the material scientists can tell what is the source. Only by taking shelter of spiritual intelligence one can know the source. So this girl is frankly expressing, I don't know. I don't know from where I have come. Because the material intelligence can't understand the Lord. Lord is the source of everything. No? Krishna says, this second canto describes Dravya kala chakarmascha subhava jiva eva cha vasudevo paro brahman na chanyo artho asti tattvataha. Everything in this material world, the raw materials are created by the Lord. Intelligence is coming from the Lord, the material intelligence also. So how can intelligence know the spiritual Lord? Next verse. Translation, please.
O great hero, we only know that we are existing in this place. We do not know what will come after. Indeed, we are so foolish that we do not care to understand who has created this beautiful place for our residence.
So she says, I only know one thing, that I am there. I don't know from where I have come. I don't know about this place. And I don't even care to understand who has created this place. That's how material intelligence is. Don't even care to understand who has created this world. As Krishna says in the 16th chapter, the demonic intelligence thinks कि मन्यत काम है tu काम. This world is created only for enjoyment and the lust is the foundation. No other basis. So she is frankly saying, I don't know and I don't care to know also. Indeed, we are so foolish that we do not care to understand. No, I don't care. I can't understand. This lack of Krishna consciousness is called ignorance. We have tried to enjoy since many, many lifetimes, but we have always experienced defeat. Parabhav. Always defeated. We are born ignorant and die ignorant. Parabhavastavad abodha jato yavanna jigyasata atma tattvam. Till the time we don't inquire about spiritual subject matters, we can't come out of this ignorance. Unless a person comes to Krishna consciousness, all his activities are defeated. We are born to be defeated, basically. We cannot become successful in this material world because all our success, all our achievements are gone at the time of death. We can't win over them. Human form is meant to dissipate this ignorance. Okay. Okay, so I will stop here. I have another discussions in some time. So I'll stop and we'll continue from verse number 35 next time, where she is describing about her followers and other things. Okay, so Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granth Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai.
Jai.
I'll put the
Hare
question paper
Krishna.
on the group.
Jai.